We are failing the young in terms of setting them up for financial success. When I went to high school and even college, there was no personal finance taught to me or anyone else that I know. I got lucky in that I never truly got myself into a bad situation and was able to pick things up along the way. But this has me wondering, how are people expected to learn financial literacy? Are people just expected to learn through osmosis by being thousands of dollars in debt and just figuring it out? Having parents that are financially literate and able to pass along their knowledge? If you look around, a lot of the adults around you don't know what they're doing with their financial journey either. So how are they expected to teach their kids? We need to teach the young about finances in school. People obviously need to get their financial literacy from somewhere, and just figuring it out isn't the best solution, especially if someone's coming from a family that is not financially literate. If there is no formalized teaching of personal finance, or financial literacy will continue through perpetuity. Financial literacy is not going to solve everybody's personal finance issues, but there seems to be a lack of financial literacy among adults, which can negatively affect the entire financial system, as a lack of financial literacy will tend to have a higher bankruptcy rate and loan default rates. Apparently, many states agree, with 23 states now requiring students to take a personal finance course before graduating high school. The problem here is that many adults themselves are not financially literate, so who exactly is supposed to teach these classes? We need to make sure that these classes are actually useful and they're teaching them good material, not just being a check the block class. There are YouTube channels out there where they go through a person's finances and figuring out where they're spending, how much debt they have, and you can tell that these adults know that they're in trouble, but they don't know how to fix it. And if you gave a financial literacy course in school, they would at least have that baseline to go back to. According to Forbes, over 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and 41% of Americans earning between $150,000 and $200,000 a year also live paycheck to paycheck. In other words, living paycheck to paycheck affects most Americans and not just at the lower income levels. Making more money does not automatically mean you're better with managing your money or are actually financially literate. Making more money just means you have more headroom to make mistakes. But as you can see from the stats, so many high earners are living paycheck to paycheck, signaling a lack of understanding of their personal finances. According to the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, 53% of individuals with higher financial literacy spent less than their income, and 65% had a 3-month emergency fund. In comparison, only 35% of individuals with lower financial literacy spent less than they earned, and 42% had a 3-month emergency fund. Seems like financial literacy increases personal finance effectivity by 50% or more. The same studies show that 25% of people with higher financial literacy paid the minimum payments only on their credit cards versus 46% of people with lower financial literacy. 11% of people who reported higher financial literacy incurred late fees, while 23% of people who reported lower financial literacy incurred late fees. These statistics show that people having less financial literacy are much more likely to get themselves into financial trouble and have a hard time climbing out of that trouble. This does not necessarily mean that they will fail, but being financially literate definitely gives them a better chance to set themselves up for success. So why has it taken this long for schools to finally put an emphasis on financial literacy? Kids have forever dreamed of making tons of money and being successful in life, but why is nobody teaching kids how to prepare their lives to set themselves up for financial success, whether they do make a ton of money or not? Not teaching kids to be financially literate is exactly why such a large portion of higher income people are living paycheck to paycheck. Furthermore, not teaching kids how to manage money and how personal finance works can have a lasting effect on a person. Not only will these people be in financial trouble and have a hard time getting themselves out of this trouble, but it can also lead to mental health problems and an increased risk of suicide. A 2020 study indicated that people who had recently experienced severe financial strain had 20 times higher chance of attempting to end their life. Such a serious issue that seems to get minimal thought put behind it in the formative years of learning. The time to learn about personal finance is not when you're staring at thousands and thousands of dollars of credit card debt and student loans, but before that, so that you can actually set yourself up for the future and create a plan. As mentioned before, 23 states now require students to take at least one semester of personal finance before they graduate high school. What exactly will these classes cover, and how good will this education be? Hopefully they'll cover actual budgeting, savings, how to invest, how compounding interest works, both on investments and on debts, and different financial products such as mortgages, credit cards, and student loans. If they're going to require students to take a class before graduating high school, please make it good and worthwhile. Give these students a good foundation to build upon later and actually set themselves up for success in the future. Giving these students this foundation can have lasting effects with setting them up for the future, helping the economy with people actually understanding how money works, and possibly preventing people from making poor financial decisions due to ignorance. I'd like to know when you learned about personal finance and how money works. You can leave that down in the comment down below. I'd love to hear when you actually learned about money.